You have given the same person money at least 4 times. You told yourself it was the last time after the second. You know, with complete certainty, that they will burn through it, and you will give it anyway. This is not generosity. Something else entirely is running the show. And it started long before this person ever asked you for a single dollar. Psychologists have a name for this pattern. It sits inside a broader profile called the fixer or rescuer personality. And what makes it so insidious is that from the outside, and even from the inside, it looks exactly like compassion. You look like a generous person. You feel like a generous person. But what is actually happening in your nervous system is something much older and much less voluntary than a choice. To understand why you physically cannot stop, you have to go back to a specific kind of childhood. Not necessarily a dramatic one, not necessarily one with obvious trauma. Sometimes it is just a household where chaos was the weather, a parent who was financially irresponsible, a caregiver whose moods were unpredictable, a home where the emotional temperature could swing without warning, and a child learned very quickly that the safest thing they could do was manage it. That child, and this may have been you, discovered something powerful, that if they stayed alert enough, anticipated needs fast enough, smoothed things over quickly enough, the storm might not come. Or if it came, it would pass faster. The helping was not love. It was damage control. And it worked. Which is the problem? Because your brain logged that behavior as a survival strategy. And survival strategies do not retire just because the danger is gone. So now you are an adult. The chaotic parent has been replaced by a chaotic friend, a struggling sibling, a partner who cannot hold on to money. And the moment they come to you in crisis, something fires in your body before your brain has even finished reading the situation. A low-grade alarm, a pull in your chest. Psychologists describe it as a felt sense of threat, not intellectual worry, but a physical signal that something must be done, and you are the one who must do it. This is where most people make the mistake of calling it empathy. And yes, you do feel what the other person feels, perhaps more intensely than most people. But what you are also feeling is your own old anxiety, your own unresolved need to make the instability stop. The other person's financial crisis has essentially triggered your nervous system's most practiced response. Help, fix, stabilize, restore the calm. You are not rescuing them. You are rescuing the child version of you. There is a term in psychology called codependency, but that word has been so overused that it has lost its edges. What it actually describes is a loss of self in relation to another person's dysfunction. Your sense of well-being becomes structurally dependent on their state. When they are in crisis, you cannot feel okay until you fix it. Your emotional regulation, your ability to feel calm and safe, has been outsourced to someone else's stability. That is not a character flaw. That is a learned architecture. And here is what makes financial rescuing specifically so sticky. Money is concrete. You can hand it over, and the crisis disappears. For a day, a week, a month. You get a hit of relief. Your nervous system settles. You feel capable, needed, effective. That relief is real. It feels like love. It feels like purpose. But what you have actually done is train yourself, through repeated reward, to associate another person's financial dysfunction with your own sense of usefulness. You need their chaos to feel needed. Behavioral psychologists call this a variable reinforcement schedule, the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Sometimes your money helps. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes they thank you. Sometimes they resent you for it. The unpredictability does not weaken the behavior. It strengthens it. Your brain keeps trying to crack the code. to find the version of helping that finally works, finally changes them, finally makes the chaos permanently stop. It never does, but the trying feels like progress. There is also something called the helper's high, a documented neurological response. Acts of helping release dopamine and oxytocin, the same systems involved in social bonding and reward. For most people, this is a pleasant background note. For someone with a rescuer profile, it is louder. The neurological reward for helping a person in crisis is disproportionately large compared to helping in a stable situation. Which means you are not just psychologically wired to help. You are chemically incentivized to seek out people who need rescuing. Let that sit for a moment. You are not drawn to financially reckless people despite the chaos. You are drawn to them partly because of it. The chaos is what activates the reward system. A financially stable, responsible person offers you no entry point, nothing to fix, no alarm to silence, no dopamine hit at the end of the tunnel. So without conscious awareness, you have been gravitating toward people whose dysfunction matches the specific shape of your oldest wound. This is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Because once you can see the mechanism clearly, once you understand that the pull you feel is a misfiring survival response, not moral obligation, you have a choice that you did not have before. You cannot make a real choice while you believe the feeling is simply who you are. The feeling is not who you are. It is a strategy your younger self invented under pressure. It served its purpose. It is allowed to retire. The practical work of untangling this is not fast, and it is not comfortable. It usually involves learning to sit with the discomfort of not helping, not because you do not care, but because you are building tolerance for the alarm signal without acting on it. Therapists working in this area often describe it as learning to let someone else's fire burn without grabbing the hose. The fire is not yours. You did not start it. Putting it out every time does not teach them to stop lighting matches. You will also need to grieve something. Because if your sense of purpose has been built around being needed, then becoming someone who can say no, someone who can watch another adult navigate their own consequences, will feel like a loss of identity. It is. The person you were in that role, the reliable rescuer, the one who always comes through, that version of you will have to step down. What comes after is quieter, but it is actually yours. The people you have been rescuing will either rise to meet their own lives, or they will find someone else to rescue them. Either way, that is their path. Yours is a different question entirely. What do you do with your energy, your resources, your deep capacity for care when you finally stop pouring it into a system designed to stay broken? That question is worth more than any amount of money you have ever handed over. And for the first time, you are free to answer it.